Hey there, beautiful bride. I am Jillian Rosich Kendrick, founder of My Best Wedding and MyWeddingPlanningCourse.com. Welcome to another episode of Wedding Wednesday. I'm so excited that you're here with me, that you found this video, that you're taking time out of your day to engage and just get excited about wedding planning and really to learn more about wedding planning. I cannot even begin to tell you how many brides on a daily basis will message me and say, help, I have no idea what I'm doing with my wedding. How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, that's what this video is for. That's what Wedding Wednesday is for. And really that's what I do. So I've always explained myself as sort of how did I say? I've always said that I was kind of like a bridal fairy godmother. And in a way I still sort of am, but imagine that, like, the best way to describe me really would be, have you ever heard of a personal trainer, right? Like somebody who you go to the gym, they're there and they show you what to do. Well, I'm sort of a personal trainer for brides. I show you how to plan your wedding. I help you along the way. I give you advice. I have video tutorials that walk you through everything that you need to know. And I help you to plan a beautiful, memorable, low-stress wedding of your dreams at absolutely any budget. So Wedding Wednesday is really just a piece, a tiny portion of all of the amazing content and awesome stuff that I have to offer, including our blog, membership to the website, which we now have a couple different membership levels where you can get awesome stuff and bonuses and prizes. So head on over there and check that out as well. But Wedding Wednesday really is here for you to just get to know me and to be able to have a place where you can ask questions about weddings. And so I usually will pick a topic based on feedback from brides, based on brides messaging me saying, hey, would you mind talking about this on Wedding Wednesday? And then anything that I know is really important or that I have kind of come across in all of the research and all the conversations that I have on behalf of other brides, and I put that all into content for you so that, you know, it makes wedding planning a lot easier and a lot more stress-free, and you can have that dream wedding, right? So today's topic on Wedding Wednesday is when and where should you get your marriage license? And this is actually really pretty important and kind of one of several kind of final steps to planning your wedding. So two questions there, right? When do you get your marriage license and where? First question, when. Every state that is going to be a little bit different and has a bit different rules. For the most part, every marriage license should be good for about 2 weeks to a month of when you apply for it or when you actually get it. And again, it depends on every state. Some states require that you take pre-marriage counseling or do some kind of like pre-marriage thing. Other states don't care. Some states, like Florida, for example, my husband and I actually got a discount on our marriage license because we did pre-marriage counseling. Or if you do something like that and you show them like a certificate that says, you know, here's your names, here's the dates completed, they'll give you a discount on your marriage license. So totally look for that and that'll help out. Even if it saves you like 20 bucks. That's a meal, you know, like that's a month's membership to the website. That's how many cups of coffee can you get for 20 bucks, right? 20 bucks is 20 bucks. That's awesome. If it can save you a little bit of money, then that's fabulous. So know that a marriage license is usually good for about 2 weeks to a month from the time that you get it. And then the second question, where do you get your marriage license? Well, a marriage license should be acquired in the state in which you're getting married in. So if you, for instance, one of my best friends from college, she and her husband live in Brooklyn. They live in New York City, and they decided to get married in Chicago, where she grew up and where we went to college at. And so even though they live in New York City, they applied for their marriage license in Illinois and got their marriage license from Cook County Courthouse and all of that. So if you're getting, you know, if you live in Alabama and you're getting married in California, or if you live in Idaho and you're getting married in Iowa, then you have to get your marriage license where the wedding is actually taking place. Or you have to legally get married, like through the court system and the documentation and all of that. You have to legally get married prior to the ceremony. I mean, it's really up to you how you want to do that, and also how your officiant works, right? Make sure that your officiant, whoever is officiating your wedding ceremony, has the proper documentation and is actually legally allowed in that state to marry people. You can certainly have someone to officiate your wedding who is not an ordained minister, who is not, you know, a judge or the captain of a ship or anything like that, someone who would legally be capable of performing marriages. You can definitely have somebody, you know, officiate your wedding who's not legally allowed to do so, but in order for your marriage to be recognized by the state that you're getting married in, you have to then legally get married in the court and have all the proper documentation prior to that. And like I said, if you get, some states, if you do pre-marriage counseling and you do some kind of like a pre-marriage course, whether it's a home study course or you do one online, I'm actually working with my wedding counselor who did our pre-marriage wedding counseling to create an online course right now. So look for that coming up, which will be really, really cool. But whether you do it or not, some states actually will give you a discount on your wedding license, which is super duper cool and can save you money, right? Who doesn't love saving a little bit of money? So hello again to everybody who just joined. Comment below and let me know who you are, when your wedding date is, and if you have any wedding questions, any wedding angst, any burning ideas, or if you just like to share something, I'd love to hear from you. Hi to Natasha and hi to Rebecca. So glad you guys could join us today on Wedding Wednesday. Thank you so much. So we're talking about marriage licenses, when to get them, where to get them. So again, get your marriage license in the state that you're getting married in, right? If you're from Colorado, but you're getting married in Illinois, you want to get your marriage license in Illinois. Or you need to figure out, you know, how to get married in the court system prior to that. And another issue with a marriage license, when it comes to like having the marriage license and then kind of making everything official on the actual day of, the trick to that is you really, yay Colorado, you really want to make sure that you designate a specific person, whether they're in your wedding party or they're the officiant or they're you know, a wedding guest or maybe the venue themselves or somebody. You want to make sure that you get your marriage license signed and everything is documented and good to go, but then don't forget that that has to be mailed, right? You either have to take it into the court system or you have to mail it in, whatever you choose to do. Some might fax them in, I have no idea. Our option in Florida was to either mail them or walk them in personally, and so we decided to mail ours in, and we decided to designate, actually the venue themselves offered that if we could have the documentation ready and we could have a signed, sealed, you know, signed address stamped envelope, that I just hand everything over to the event coordinator and she takes care of all of that. So we just have to sign everything, get it done, hand it to her, and she deals with it, which was amazing, right? Because on the day of your wedding, you're so busy, you're so overwhelmed, like everybody wants your attention. You're not necessarily thinking about paperwork and mailing stuff in, but if you can do the work ahead of time and get everything ready, then it's so much easier. It just makes your life easier. And if the venue isn't willing to do it, like I said, just ask somebody. Ask one of your bridesmaids or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or whoever you trust to get that sort of stuff done, somebody who hopefully is good at logistics and will follow through in doing that for you. But just make sure that it gets done, and designate somebody and ask them to help you out and do you a favor, do you a solid, and it gets taken care of from there, which is awesome. Yay! Weddings. So Natasha, hi Natasha, asks, there's a girl I went to high school with. We weren't friends back then. We hung out with different groups of people. We recently started talking on Facebook and texting and plan to hang out soon. Should I invite her to the wedding or not? So that's an awesome question. I love that you brought this up. And actually, I went through sort of a similar situation in that my husband has a coworker who we didn't really know super duper well, and then we started to hang out with, and then right when our invitations went out, we started to hang out more and we got kind of close, and then it became this angst of like, oh my gosh, we really like her. Should we invite her? Should we not invite her? We didn't prepare to invite her when we were going through our wedding planning and our budgeting and getting everything ready for the venue. She wasn't on our list, but since then we've grown to get to know each other better and have hung out. And so Natasha, we went through the exact same thing and we ended up just for us, it was the right decision for us, but we ended up deciding not to invite her only because she wasn't on the original list. But it's entirely up to you, and I think it depends on whether or not you have sent out your invitations and really how close to the wedding you are, right? Like, I know you've told me this before, but if your wedding is like next October and you have a ton of time and you get to know this person, then yeah, if financially you can afford to add another person to your wedding, your guest list, then absolutely. If you feel, that that's the right thing for you to do, then that's awesome. And that would be wonderful. And I'm sure she would love to come to your wedding. Also know that if she has or doesn't have a significant other, you might not just be paying for her to come to your wedding, you might also be paying for her guest or fiance or spouse or boyfriend or whomever to come to the wedding as well. So just be prepared, at least, financially, to pay for two heads and not just one necessarily, if you want to do that, of course. And then what else was I going to say? Yeah, it really just depends on, how close you guys get and when your wedding is, when your invitations have gotten sent out, and how close you get. Certainly, I'll say this, when you kind of first connect with someone, or you first sort of reconnect with someone like you are, you have this sort of flood of emotion and you get really excited and you have all these connections with this person and you you want to spend a lot of time with them. Give it time to see how the relationship sort of plays out, and give it time to see how well you guys connect over a few months, because you don't necessarily want to say like, oh, I reconnected with this person yesterday, so let's invite them to the wedding, right? So I would just give the relationship a little bit of time to develop and see how it goes. And if you guys are still friends in a couple of months and that's when you're going to send out your invitations, then and you can afford it, heck, go for it. The more the merrier, right? Why not? But just give it time, pray on it and see if it's the right thing for you and your fiance to do. Awesome. Really good question. Anybody else who has questions, feel free to comment below and I'd be happy to answer them for you if you're having wedding stress or you need to know about how to choose a dress, the timeline. Today's topic was where and when to get your marriage license. So any and every thing that you need help with on Wedding Wednesday, I'd be happy to answer questions for you. And where is it? Anybody new who asks a question today, as always on all of my Wedding Wednesdays, will get a copy of my free wedding planning course notebook, which is simply just a notebook that you can write in, and it's super duper awesome because it's little, it's lightweight, it fits really easily into your purse or like a pocket or something like that, and I carry this thing like everywhere with me. I love it. So awesome. Carolyn, right, wants to know, can you get your license in your hometown rather than wedding ceremony town? So it depends on which state you're getting married in. So wedding licenses aren't dependent on like county laws or city laws. They're dependent on state laws. You get married in the state of Florida, the state of Georgia, the state of Indiana, the state of California. You don't get married in, you know, Cook County, Broward County, Dade County, Lawrence County, wherever, right? You get married in a state and your marriage license is good for that particular state, not necessarily a town or a county. So let's say you live in Tennessee and you're getting married in Tennessee, and you also live in Tennessee, then you would just get married. You would just get your marriage license at wherever your closest local courthouse or judicial office building is. But if you like live in Tennessee, but you're getting married in Kentucky, then you want to get your marriage license in Kentucky in the state where you're getting married in. So really good question. Thank you for asking that. Natasha says, I always have to click more with Natasha's questions. She's awesome. All right. No, you're great. So Natasha asks, how often does David's Bridal have sales going on? We are supposed to go in March for bridesmaids to pick out their dresses, but all three of my girls are on a tight budget. That's most people anyway, that's fine. Where else can I get dresses? Need a short, dark purple dress. First of all, I love purple, so I'm really excited that you have purple for your wedding color. Second of all, David's Bridal, I think they do like twice a year, give or take. I know every like December or January, they usually tend to have a big sale. And then sometime closer to like the end of summer, if you look, Natasha, if you look at like the lower Facebook posts back in like, I don't even remember, but like September, August maybe, David's Bridal was having a sale, and I reposted something about the sale. So you can go and look of when that was, and that'll help you get an idea of the timeline for when David's Bridal will have sales. Oh, purple is her fiance's favorite color. Woohoo! I love it. That's awesome. But yeah, as far as like a cheap wedding dress or bridesmaid's dress, you can totally go to like secondhand stores. You can look online. You can go to davidsbridal.com, and a lot of times their online store will have better sales than the actual like storefront, the brick and mortar stores will. So just kind of shop around, and even honest to God, like it sounds like the simplest thing in the world, but if you just Google light purple, dark purple dress and see what comes up in the regular searches, what comes up in the shopping section, and then find something at a decent price that you like, give it a shot. I mean, even if you don't go down that route, Natasha, you'll at least know that's not for me, and that's okay. Because even finding the thing that isn't meant for you, that's like Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb or whatever, right? It's just he didn't fail, he just didn't succeed. He just, had to try like 1,000 times to get where he needed. So don't look at it as any kind of failure or not finding what you need or what you want. Just look at it as sort of a process of elimination, and that's totally okay. Really good question, by the way. Cheyenne, hi Cheyenne, thanks for joining me today on Wedding Wednesday. You're awesome. So Cheyenne says, to catch my breath, Cheyenne says, I heard that you have to get the marriage license according to the county as well. For example, I'm getting married in Montgomery County, and that I'd have to get a marriage license in Montgomery County. And I couldn't get a marriage license in Madison County since I didn't get it married in Madison. Okay, so that's a really good question. And at the beginning of the video, I talked about how every single state law is different for marriage license. So in the state of Florida, my husband and I live in Brevard County, but we were able to, but we were getting married in Orange County. And so we were able to get our marriage license in Brevard County, get married in Orange County, and the state of Florida didn't care where we were getting it. But if you live, did you tell me what state you live in? You said Madison, so I'm kind of assuming it's Wisconsin, but I'm probably wrong. Depending on what state you're in, every state law is going to be different, right? I'm sure, I'm not a huge fan of politics, so I don't want to talk too much about like what's going on today, but I'm sure, oh, you live in Illinois. I'm from Chicago. Woo! Yes. So if you follow like what goes on in politics, you'll know that like state laws sometimes supersede US laws. And so it just depends on what state you're getting married in and what those state laws are. So if you live in Illinois, okay, Illinois' laws, like you said, probably say if you're getting married in Cook County, you have to get your license in Cook County. If you're getting married in Montgomery County, you have to get your license in Montgomery County. Whereas other states have that immunity, reciprocity, what's the word I'm looking for? That like you can kind of go between county lines, and as long as you get married in that state, they really don't care. But Illinois, go figure, Illinois politics is going to be a little bit different, right? But it just, like I said, it just depends on what state you're getting married in and what those state laws and the state requirements are. And again, to save a little bit of money, don't forget that some states will give you a discount if you get, if you take some kind of like a pre-marriage counseling or like pre-marriage course or something like that. So check with your, like on your, illinois.gov website and just check it out and see if they have anything for you, which is awesome. Rebecca, hi Rebecca. Rebecca and I went to college together. Rebecca's super awesome. I love her. Rebecca says Colorado is county by county as well, but that's because that is a state law. Exactly. So state laws. And Rebecca would know because Rebecca's awesome. Very cool. So yeah, exactly. You just have to check and see what the requirements are for your particular state, and then figure out, what you need and where you have to get your license and how much it's going to cost and what the requirements are. And some, don't laugh at me, Rebecca. Some states are different, some counties are different. It just depends on your local government and what you have to do and where you have to go. In fact, when Mike and I got our marriage license, we took my sister with us just because we were like running a whole bunch of errands. We went and did our prenup, we went to lunch, we got our marriage license, we did like a ton of stuff with my sister that day. And when we were getting our marriage license, the lady at the county building said, the marriage license is, I don't remember how much it was, like $100, but you could save $10 if you pay in cash rather than a credit card. So of course, Mike and I like never carry cash on us, but my sister had cash. So my sister actually ended up paying for our marriage license, and she was my maid of honor. And so it was just, it ended up like being this sort of really like at first it was just sort of this annoying thing, like, oh really, we have to pay cash? Like I don't have cash on me. But then it ended up being just this super sweet, wonderful, like loving gesture of my sister kind of like swooping in and paying for our marriage license, and the fact that like she did that for us and she was my maid of honor, and it was just super sweet, and I loved it and I love her. So that's awesome. Yay. Very cool. Cheyenne says, my grandma asked about pre-marriage counseling. What is that exactly? So everyone every person that you talk to, every state requirement that you look up is going to have a little bit different definition of what they consider to be pre-marriage counseling. But either you can go to a counselor or a psychiatrist, or you can go to your like pastor of your local church, or like a small group or anything like that, and just say, hey, we want to do pre-marriage counseling, and every different entity is going to have different requirements. So for us, we had sort of a syllabus to go through of what we had, like DVDs, we had books to read, we met with a counselor individually and together as a couple, and just talked about, what do you expect out of marriage? What do you want out of marriage? There were talking points and conversation starters that we had. And again, don't forget, I'm actually in the process of creating an online, like my very own pre-marriage course that will be hosted on my website as part of my membership, probably within the next couple of months. So pre-marriage counseling is really just an opportunity for you two as a couple to sort of grow and learn. And one thing that I love, that even if you don't do pre-marriage counseling, I highly, highly recommend this. And it truly, like, I kid you not, it has completely changed my own life, and it's changed my marriage. So look up The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Dr. Chapman. Gary Chapman? I forget. Anyway, he's this amazing, amazing guy. He's a pastor, I believe, and he created this idea that every human being has a love language, just like you and I speak English, or or someone else speaks Spanish or German or French. We all have love languages, ways in which we express love and ways in which we need to receive love. So the 5 different love languages are acts of service, words of affirmation, gift giving, quality time, and physical touch. So physical touch obviously is like if you enjoy cuddling, or you need to, have PDA or be holding hands with your significant other, that's physical touch. Words of affirmation are saying like, I love you, thank you, you did such a good job on that, you're so handsome, you're beautiful. Those are words of affirmation, things that you say to affirm someone's existence, really, and what they're doing. Quality time is pretty self-explanatory, right? Just spending time, going out for coffee, having dinner, sitting on the couch together, playing games, reading a book. My husband and I like driving. We just I'll drive and he'll sit in the passenger seat, and we'll go, on Sundays when we have nothing to do, like that happens. And we'll go and we'll drive together, because one of my love languages is quality time. I need to spend time with people in order to really feel love. Acts of service is doing things for people. So saying like, I did the dishes, or I got the car washed, or I vacuumed, or I did the laundry, or, I made this for you. Those are acts of service. And then gift giving, again, pretty self-explanatory. If you love, if you feel like receiving gifts or giving gifts is something that you really enjoy, or a way that you show love to others, that is, so anyway, I can go on for days talking about Gary Chapman and the 5 love languages, but check out the 5 love languages. He's seriously changed my life and changed my marriage, knowing kind of how I operate and what I need in order to feel loved by my husband. It's awesome. Anyway, so there you go. Carolyn says, how far in advance should you get the marriage license? I'm getting married March 19th in Texas. Congratulations. My wedding anniversary is actually March 22nd, so super close. That's awesome. And congratulations, by the way. So again, it'll depend on your state, or it'll depend on your county. So a marriage license is typically going to be good for anywhere between like a week or 2 weeks up to about a month, until for as long as how long the marriage license is good. So you really want to check with your local government or where you're getting married and figure out how long is the marriage license good for, and then kind of backtrack to determine when you need to get it. Mike and I got married on a Sunday, and we got our marriage license on like Monday or Tuesday. So we waited kind of, up until like the week of the wedding to get our marriage license. Same thing with my girlfriend that I talked about earlier, who lives in New York but got married in Illinois. She and her fiance waited until just a few days before their wedding to go and get their marriage license. So just check out with your local government and you'll figure that out. Cheyenne says, I'm getting married March 18th. Congrats to all the new happy couples. Very good. Yeah, March weddings are pretty popular. March, April, May, June, just kind of that like big wedding season. And right now is actually like Valentine's Day is coming up, right? Big engagement season right now especially. So awesome. Any other questions before we head out for the night? Again, anyone who asked a question, so Carolyn, Cheyenne, who else? Natasha is an old pro at Wedding Wednesday. But yeah, Carolyn and Cheyenne, go ahead and private message me your mailing address, and I'll send you out a My Wedding Planning Course notebook totally free as a thank you for asking a question today. So that does it for me for Wedding Wednesday today. Thank you all so much for engaging with me, for spending time, for taking the step to learn about wedding planning, to be prepared, to have a plan, because trust me, there are so many brides out there who aren't watching this, who aren't learning what you're learning, who aren't taking that step. So just seriously, awesome job to you for being here and investing in yourself long term. And thank you for being here with me this evening. So you're awesome. Happy wedding planning. If there's anything that I can do for you in the meantime, please let me know. And again, huge changes on the website. So head over to myweddingplanningcourse.com to read the blog, watch more videos, get tons of stuff over there. And I'll see you on the inside. Bye, guys.